Welcome to the U-Turn Podcast. My friend, this is Ashley Stahl. I'm your host, and you are in the right place if you're ready to create a business, a career, a personal brand, or just a life that you're so proud of. And every single week, we want to support you by bringing you PhDs, subject matter experts, psychology practitioners, business leaders, all here on the show to elevate your success in business and also in life so that you can leave a legacy, you can amplify your authority, and you can really skyrocket the amount of opportunities you're creating for yourself in your career, whether you're corporate or you're a business owner. And if you are new here, again, my name is Ashley Stahl. I'm an international bestselling author of the book U-Turn, Get Unstuck, Discover Your Direction, Design Your Dream Career. And most importantly, I'm the CEO and founder of Wise Whisper Agency. I'm a top 100 TEDx speaker on the internet, and I was so inspired to create Wise Whisper and help clients craft their signature talk. We've helped hundreds of clients craft their talk, and we've also helped so many of them land spots on some of the biggest stages in the world, including the TED and TEDx stage. And so I am here on a mission to help every changemaker I know impact millions. Also, before we get into this episode, shout out to our friend Andy B. Mackin, the artist that has gifted us this sick new music for the podcast. Let's get into this week's episode. All right, U-Turn friends. I don't know if you remember, but I had a very dear friend, Mike Koenigs, come on the show a gazillion years ago. It feels like, I actually don't know if you remember this, Mike, but we met in 2016. So it's been just about a decade since we met. And in that decade, I think that Mike is one of the only people like me that I know where I'm a Gemini. So every minute of my life is separate from the last in the best way possible. Mike is somebody, you send him a text message and he's doing something different, but he's doing it at the top of his game. And that is the kind of person I love to be around. And I think Mike is really a reflection of somebody who can be anyone he wants because he really has a desire for mastery. So Peter Diamandis might call, he's called him an arsonist of the mind, which I just can't with that. It's so funny. And then Tony Robbins has talked about you being an extraordinary man and just bringing you insight, bringing insights to him that have reached so many on the internet. A lot of people will call you a serial entrepreneur, a reinventor, 5 successful exits, 19 times best-selling author, a speaker to so many people. You've been a judge on so many different, shows and a contributor to Forbes, an entrepreneur. I mean, the list goes on. And today I'm really excited to talk to you just about like the future and what's to come, what you're seeing, because you're somebody that I know has really put the time in. So everybody, y'all grab your pen because the future is interesting and we need to know about it to prepare for it. Mike, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Total pleasure. It was so awesome that I can't remember if you reached out to me or I reached out to you. I think you just checked in. I'm like, what a beautiful blast. And I, first of all, you look amazing. You look as beautiful and amazing as the first day I met you. So you're whatever anti-aging serum you're taking, I want some of that. So good, great job. Always a pleasure. And I love how you think and how you communicate. You really know how to operate from the soul. So thank you.
Thank you. It's so crazy to actually live the life from the heart. Like I think even with my love life, like there's so many years that I dated from my head. Like these are the things that I need in a partners. And you just celebrated your 24-year wedding anniversary, which is amazing. And Vivian is she's literally a movement in and of her own. Mm-hmm. And I think for so many years, I wanted so many things with somebody. And it was only until these past couple that I've said, I need to lead with my heart. And it's a whole different planet when you live from your heart. It's a whole different planet. Instead of things being about, do they match these things? It's, how does my heart feel? How do I feel around this? Does it make me feel good? Does it not? And there's just so much nuance there that I've been working on in my own spiritual development. But I'm glad you see some sort of vibration going on over here on my side because I've been doing the work, Mike. I've been doing it.
Well, I know when I first met you, there were a lot of rules, a lot of expectations, and expectations are the enemy of happiness. That's one of the things I always said to my wife too, because she came into um, our relationship. And look, she's an amazing human being, but she had some rules that had to be. And I remember one time I'm like, whatever our projections on each other and what our hallucinations are on top of someone else's projections very rarely end well.
Yeah.
Um, so and as you've evolved and talk about relationship, I can just see how I think you've just let so much go. And I
Yeah.
see you energetically, you feel like you're in flow and you're smooth. You feel smooth to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I feel like, we're in such a community of people that are so hungry for using their gift, being in a sense of purpose. And
Mhm.
it can be really hard to feel like you know what that is because transition is huge. We were just talking before I hit the record button about your neighbor hosting like workshops and series around life transition. And the thing is, that's the only thing we can count on for sure is change.
Yep.
And for some reason, we keep making decisions, as a collective. I think most people choose out of what they think they should be doing to feel the most safe or secure or whatever they perceive. But I mean, you're studying something like AI right now, and you've written a book about it. So if there's anything we know, it's that the whole world changed when AI came in. And somebody posted on one of the ChatGPT forums like a funny Twitter screenshot of somebody talking shit about ChatGPT being like, "This is Sam's worst invention yet." The day it came out, and it's like, no, it's actually changed the entire world as we know it. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what do you think is going on right now and what is to come in work, in love? Like I've heard people say that if you're a millennial woman and you have a kid, your grandchild will be in a relationship with an AI bot at some point. I've heard, I was in a tech dinner in Silicon Valley and they were saying that AI right now is like 1995 Netscape. Like the amount of opportunity is insane. And I'm actually paralyzed and overwhelmed by where do I begin with it? So I want to create AI. I don't even know what to do. So where can we begin for everybody to start to grasp it?
Yeah, I'll give you three things that pop into my head. And in a way, you already have a relationship with an AI. It's your phone, And what a lot of people don't realize is every device you use, even your refrigerator, it's most devices have had some kind of machine learning built into them for a long time. They've just been invisible. And it wasn't until November of 2022 when OpenAI released ChatGPT with the most obvious, non-obvious interface, which is chat. We've all been using text on our phones. It's a perfect interface, and now it's multimodal. So the first place to start is talk to ChatGPT and talk to it like a teammate, not like a tool.
Mm,
And I think as soon as you adopt that mindset, and I'll give you a couple prompts and I'll give you some ways of thinking about it. But I've got a prompt that I popped in, and it effectively is some variation of I want you to look at the 10 limiting beliefs and most obvious, non-obvious challenges that I have, and give me a strategy for overcoming each of them, and give me a step-by-step process for 30 days that will help me create a better version of my future self. So I just made up a prompt on the fly, but that alone, if you either typed it in or spoke it into ChatGPT, it'll look at all of your history, all the conversations you've had with it, and it's built a very, very complex model of its understanding of you. So I put in a prompt pretty similar to that, and it tapped into some of my darkest stuff that I would be ashamed to share, show, or talk
mm,
about my behaviors and how I act and how I behave unconsciously.
hmm
And so I'm just going to pop that out there and just say, as a companion and a therapist, it is real time. And you think about what creates pain in our lives. It's us comparing ourselves to other people. It's not having enough time, money, resources, capabilities, not thinking we're good enough or smart enough. And now you got a tool that essentially holds all of human knowledge in it.
hmm
It's sucked up the entire internet and practically all books. Um, and now Gemini is sucking up all of YouTube. it profiles you very deeply and knows all your tendencies, your reactions, how you communicate.
When you think about businesses growing their sales beyond forecasts, you probably think about a product with very high demand, a very focused brand, and influence-driven marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Shopify is home to the #1 checkout on the planet, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout brands like Mattel and Heinz use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/U-turn, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/U-turn to upgrade your selling today. Again, that's shopify.com/U-turn.
Like we're building, when we talk to people now, before I speak to someone the first time, I built a series of prompts that'll research everything about you. And it synthesizes all of your personality profiles, like your DISC, your Enneagram, your Colby, your Strengths Finder, your Print Score, and 8 more very accurately. And then looks at your entire past. And I gave it some prompts to estimate what that person's best future self will be. So when I talk to someone,
this is a trip.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is available to anyone for free right now. And a tiny percentage of the population has any idea about how to adapt it and use it.
Where is it, Mike? Give it to us. We want it.
It's like ChatGPT is kind of the gold standard, and you can train it, and it has memory.
Wow.
Let's just call that #1. As long as you're using the paid version, and I always say this, like if you are using the free version of anything, remember you are the product. Going back to the days of Hotmail and everything else. If it's free, you're the product. It's gathering data and selling it about you. All right. So that's the first one. The second one is a new tool that just came out a few weeks ago as of the time we're recording this. It's GenSparkAI. It's agentic. And for example, here's how I use it. I go in and I grab a video link. Let's say there's a 1 or 2 hour video that you want to watch, consume, and learn from. Well, that takes too much time, even if you're consuming it at 1.5 or 2x. So you can take the link and you can say, my name is Ashley Stahl. Here's my website address. I want you to watch and consume this video. I want you to take all of the prompts, links, content in it, and rewrite it in my voice and my tone and my style, and adapt the content for my business application. So basically what it'll do, and make me a PowerPoint presentation. So it'll suck down the entire transcript. It'll really understand it. And it'll look at your website and your style, tone, and voice, and it'll adapt all that content so you can use it. So it's like it's teaching and training and educating you in your own voice, okay? And you're going to learn a lot faster. But then it's a keynote presentation. So you can synthesize anything into something that's meaningful to you on the fly. So think about what that's going to do for education now and in the future. Everything's just in time. Everything's on demand. Everything's hyper-personalized for free.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because my company has crafted like over 120 keynotes, and a lot of them are TED Talks that we've helped with. And we've had like hundreds of people for different stages, including TED Talks. But I was thinking, man, our speechwriter, they've written shows like Grey's Anatomy and White Lotus. They're some of the best speechwriters in the world, and they're writing off of a structure I've given them all these talks are going viral. So I've been thinking, well, I don't want to create an AI for the world, but it'd be great to create it for my company.
Do you want a use case on how you can do that?
Yeah, give it.
Okay. So here's what I do right now if I were you. Another really good tool. So first of all, I'm going to just give you a philosophical mindset, which is the way to use the AI is right now you've got ChatGPT is one, Claude is another, Grok, that's Elon's, is another one. There's Gemini, which is Google, and there's DeepMind is another. GenSpark is another. Okay, so there you've got all these. Um, so the first thing you'd want is to get a link to all of the TED Talk presentations that you've had your hand in, and or the speeches.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be either one of them. And you can put all the content along with your framework into Notebook LM would be one. And you can put up to 300 different pieces of content in there. You can just put in a YouTube video. You can put in a link to a podcast or the keynote presentation itself, the PDF,
Mm-hmm.
along with the script. And then you'd create a prompt that would say, hey, I want you to analyze all of these presentations and my framework. And then you could take some raw content, like from an interview from someone's story. And the prompt would be something along the lines of, take this raw content and use my methodology and these examples of previous TED Talks and create an 18-minute TED Talk using our technique, and it spit out a version. Okay, so that's Notebook LM, which will do a really good job and absorb all this content without hallucinating. So it's going to be factual and use citations.
Mm.
That's tool number one. But you can take the exact same prompt with the same body of work and feed it into all the other AIs.
Mm.
And this is like, I call it a Frankenstein methodology. But if you just imagine right now, if you had the ability to hire 6 or 8 PhD geniuses, and each one of them worked in your office, but in separate rooms, all working independently, and then you had all of them do that task, which could happen in 10 minutes instead of 10 days, which is, I think, how long does it take right now for a really good speechwriter to write a really good TED Talk?
It can take up to 80 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's call it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's mind blowing hard work. And is that the first draft or is that to finals?
That's
final
like
stuff?
final draft. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, that's a ton of work.
Yeah.
And they've really got to understand the voice of the person, so it's authentic, and it uses your framework and the formula. This is hard. And right now, what's the fee to do that?
It ranges. Like we have so many different offers, but it can be anything from 20K to 50K for people to craft a talk with us, get it booked on stages. Some clients want TEDx, some clients want South by Southwest or a whole different package of events. It just
Yep.
depends.
Right. And so you've got to pay the writer. I assume you've got other people involved in onboarding. You got your marketing expenses. This is not cheap to produce.
Yeah.
It's complicated and it's creative, which means not everyone's going to be on their A game all the time.
Yeah.
So up on top here, you've got to maintain quality standards and more often than not, make sure, like you've built the nuance detector that is many years and requires volume and experience.
Yeah.
So it's both, I'd say, again, we can look at this and say it's great or not so great. We can synthesize a lot of that now with a body of work. So getting back to the room full of experts, so let's give the same instructions to ChatGPT with the same body of work, same ones to Grok, same ones to Claude, same ones to Manus, that's another one I use, GenSpark, and DeepMind. Let them crank. It'll probably take anywhere from 30 seconds to 12 minutes, depending on which one of these platforms we use. And it will spit out a pretty darn good first draft. Now, I look at AI and I say, all right, so if you had 8 writers all working simultaneously, cranking out a separate creative project, and then you got to look at them and say which one is best, or maybe you like some of the stuff from this writer to that one, and you say, now synthesize and combine these. So the strategy I use, there's a tool, it's called chathub.gg. There's another one called Poe. You can run the same prompt with multiple AIs and then synthesize the results into one place. And that's what I do all the time. It's like, if you could have 8 geniuses for about $200 a month who work 24/7 Who wouldn't do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those non-obvious things. But I always say if I could have eight at once and then all have them all work independently and then pair them up and say, now synthesize your best work, that's how you get 10x the results and 10 times the quality.
Incredible. And when people are hearing this, a lot of them are probably thinking, well, how am I supposed to keep my job?
Hmm.
Big
Yeah.
question. Where do you,
Yeah.
what's the thought there? Who does the future belong to in the workforce?
Yeah. I thought a lot about this. So I'll first acknowledge the pain and the fear. I have a 22-year-old son, and he studied film and philosophy. And a lot of his friends are in the creative world. So they're filmmakers, musicians, music makers. And it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks.
Hmm.
And it's scary. And right now, I think the world belongs to the generalist, resourceful minded human. And I'm going to explain that. But first, just acknowledging what's happened in the past, which, and I got to give credit where credit is due. Gary Vee said this not too long ago, which was whatever year the tractor first came out, around then, more than 90% of the population was somehow involved in farming or food production because that's what it took. It was manual labor.
Hmm.
Tractor comes along, and what that enabled humans to be able to do is, first of all, get out of the field and not die of sunburn and absolute joint failure and all kinds of other horrible ways you can die out in fields from doing hard manual labor all the time. And, I think some people were born specialists in a certain way. Some people have tendencies towards mathematics or towards architecture or thinking or medicine or whatever it is. Well, if everyone's lumped in the same pile because there's no other choice, it's like, what do you do to survive?
Right.
And so what happened when industrialization came into being is, well, at this point, less than 1% of the population of the planet is involved in food production, is my suspicion,
Hmm.
because of automation and tractors.
Hmm.
And then they started moving into the cities where we could invent new things. But historically speaking, there are bumps and curves. So when we went from the having to, if we were making textiles, it was all done manually. And then the loom came into being, and people would be like, they're taking my job. And I'd be like, well, sometimes being a coal miner sucks and it's really dangerous. You're going to die, but we need to produce energy. Um, so is it good to throw someone in a hole digging for black rocks that will kill you?
Hmm.
Or would you rather have a tractor do it? So the point being, um, throughout all of human history, new technology actually creates new opportunities and enables humanity to do profound things. AI can fold time. So, as an example, um, AI has absorbed all of human knowledge and wisdom, and
Hmm.
now it's figuring out mathematics on an exponential level. So, instead of having to go through clinical trials that kill a whole bunch of monkeys and then take many, many years and a whole bunch of people die waiting for the medicine to come out, we can simulate humans more accurately than we can in real life and probably run 10 million trials over 100 years in a few hours.
Hmm.
So our ability to solve humanity's greatest challenges with our death by stupid diseases is going to go away incredibly quickly.
Hmm.
Now, is that good, bad, right, or wrong? Well, it depends on which side of death you're facing
Hmm.
and also which side of the coal mine you're facing. But back to what really is going on, humanity adjusts and adapts really, really quickly, no matter what the situation is. And the first time a tool comes out, our natural reaction is going to be afraid.
Hmm. It's so
That's
true.
my long-winded response, but I talked to thousands of people about this at this point. It's like, what's going to happen to me? And
Yeah.
my kid.
Well, I think as a business owner, I'm like, okay, I've got a team of 12 writers. They're the best writers I've ever met in my life. And
Mhm.
like, if I create an AI, like what you're talking about, I've cut our workflow down where instead of me having a writer write for 80 hours, maybe I have them take something that our AI made and it's our proprietary AI. And now I
Mhm.
only need 15 hours from them.
Or eight, or two. Yeah. Or you can take on um, 4 times as many projects and improve the workflow and still maintain your pricing. So now your value per employee is significantly higher. And the other thing that can happen is your best writers can learn from the best writers. And I'll give you an example of a buddy of mine who's got a home services company.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a massive call center and they've got outbound phone dialers. And what this does is it records every single phone conversation and it's constantly monitoring all the words, all the phrases, all the closing comments, but also all of the objections. And has built a big library of who the most effective closers are. And whoever the lowest converters are, they get put into paid timeout for 2 days. And what they have to do is listen to, which the system finds the best converting tools.
Mm-hmm.
It creates customized training for them and helps them learn from the best closers, overcoming the objections, and they have to test out of timeout. So you're
Mm,
getting paid to learn and train, but you're constantly refining and taking your best in class people and making everyone better.
right. Yeah, it's true. And I know that, Hollywood right now, these writers are under so much distress with Netflix and all these different platforms that don't need as many of them. And I guess the answer is learn AI because companies
Yeah,
need somebody to be manning this. Like you just walk through how I could create my AI. I know it exists. I know it's doable. I want to hire somebody that can take what I tell them and make sure it gets done right. I'm sure
right.
you know who that person is. You should text me that person. I need like somebody to execute on that because I have all the stuff and I just need it done.
Yes. So
All
yes,
yeah.
yes, and yes would be
Okay.
the answer. And I'm going to give you another thing to think about because
Yeah.
just what you were talking about with Hollywood as an example, and this goes for any creative profession. So it wasn't too long ago, and I remember this time when the Beatles recorded, and you go back to the recording years. Before there were recordings, musicians performed.
Hmm.
And recording created a massive industry and allowed music to be distributed worldwide. So did radio, so did television. And back the early days of recording, it would be like go in, everyone would be in front of a single microphone, and they'd make a wax um, master with a needle that etched into it, and then they'd stamp those things out. And they used a phenolic plastic. And as recording got better, you'd have like 4 track. So
Hmm.
you could record and then they'd ping pong the tracks and you'd have recording engineers with little mixing boards. But then it turned into 8 channels and 16 and 24 and 48, and then pretty much infinite. And it took many, many people to produce a complex album. And you're talking about the 70s and 80s. And then digital came into, and then if you fast forward to, oh, I got to think of her name. Female artist, really talented. It's her and her brother Phineas, and she wrote Bad Guy. Um,
Gosh, I'm the wrong person. I grew up in LA, but I'm completely unsubscribed from the whole
oh,
thing.
okay. I'm gonna chat GPT it, and I'm gonna just say, who is the recording female artist whose brother is Phineas, and she wrote a song called Bad Guy? Um, I'm spacing on her name right now, but anyway, thank God we've got AI. It's Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah.
She's got an exquisite voice,
Mm,
and her brother, um, and her made basically all their music for a while on a laptop in their bedroom.
mm,
Okay? So, and now there's, DJ musicians, which I hardly call it music. I prefer good old fashioned wood with no phones and someone performing on stage. It doesn't mean it's good, bad, right, or wrong. But what it does mean is one person can make a really good album.
yeah.
And it wasn't too long ago. And it took it cost you $1 million in a team of 20. So
Mm,
is that good, bad, or right or wrong? How many jobs have gone away? We're going to have one person blockbuster films soon.
mm,
That good, bad, right, or wrong. I think it's awesome if you are a young female in Africa with no resources other than a mobile phone, and you can shoot, edit, produce, and distribute a movie that changes the minds of the planet.
mm.
Is that bad? Um, think, how much more can we create? What kind of profound change can we make when I don't speak any language at all? Or, I don't speak the language of business, and now I can auto translate into English and do deals that were unimaginable 18 months ago.
Right.
It's just tools. It's just a tractor.
Just a tractor. I mean, it's so interesting. I look back at history. I studied history, government, and French, and I look back and I think about the Industrial Revolution. I remember Karl Marx in Marxism, he wrote about how it's like the worst thing ever because people are going to go from, making the whole chair and having the gratification of that to making a leg of the chair over and over and over again on these assembly lines. I look back at how things have changed, and the reality is there's always fulfillment in these things. And it's really on us to not be victims of where the world is
Yeah.
going, but instead become owners of how do we make it better? How do we make it exciting for ourselves? How do we help it? Um,
Hmm.
and I'm still very much in that question with AI. What is something that has surprised you about what you see for the future with AI? And what do you have to say about the people that are terrified that we're all going to die and be attacked by machines?
Hmm. Well, um, all right.
You're like, well, we might be.
I'm going to take that on two sides. So,
Yeah.
um, the moment you either started using the internet or you got a smartphone, you gave up your privacy. There's no such thing.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, but my opinion is so like you and I are super productive with our phones. We could run an entire business from anywhere in the world
Yeah.
with our mobile phone,
So true.
talking to people, managing them, making videos, making audios, marketing, producing millions of dollars in revenue, creating jobs, helping people. And then if you go most places, you see a bunch of people standing around scrolling endlessly on TikTok and Instagram, consuming, and you've got kids who live in echo chambers who, I mean, we know that phones are so addictive and it causes anxiety and depression and is a major contributor to suicide.
Hmm.
It is like giving your children heroin.
Hmm.
It is. It activates the same centers of the brain. It is an addictive drug. So what it does is it makes stupid people 100 times stupider, and it can make smart people 100 times smarter and more efficient. And AI is a magnitude of order higher.
Hmm.
So synthetic porn, I think dissolving trust in governments and banking by creating bots that attack and swarm and trick old people into giving away money and pretend they're your grandchildren or children, calling them up, asking for help. Like these are big issues.
Yeah.
Um, and in the meantime, here's what I can say about Karl Marx.
Hmm.
Let's say he's right. Okay. Let's say he's right. But communism sucks. Meritocracy is awesome. And so's capitalism. On the whole, on the whole, it is. It's the best, worst system we have because really productive people who make a difference get rewarded for being productive. And communism is stealing, and
Hmm.
so are taxes. So, AI has, I mean, statistically speaking, it's the most profound tool that are going to create the most profound changes. And for right now, most humans just aren't ready for the speed of change and don't understand how to think in AI.
Hmm.
And unlike everything else that we've lived in, and like you've lived through many generations of technology already,
Hmm.
um, the first step is picking it up and talking to it and asking it to help you learn the way you learn fastest and best and have it help you figure out what your biggest challenges and problems are. And the more you talk to it, the smarter it gets.
Hmm.
And so, is it going to kill you? Is it going to take over the world? Well, here's one thing I know for sure. I always told people, I'd be like, well, I always say please and thank you to my AI, and I can tell it's better and it's more and it gives me better answers. That's stupid and it's a lie. Okay. And here's why. There was
Wait,
some data that
saying
came out
please and thank
long
you
ago.
is saying please and thank you is stupid or it's not?
It's stupid. And
Okay.
here's why. There was a report that came out that said the amount of energy consumed by saying please and thank you and doing trivial conversation with an AI is consuming 15% more energy.
Hmm.
If you're worried about your airplane or your jet and someone taking a private jet hurting people? Well, first of all, anyone who's a vegan, you're killing a lot more animals than animals when you're eating them
Yeah.
because of the way that the food is produced. That's a fact. And the amount of energy that's wasted because people are, not realizing it's just a tool. It's not alive. It's not human. It doesn't think, and it doesn't care if you say please and thank you. If you're worried that not doing that is going to piss it off and somehow it's going to come get you, you're smoking something.
Mm.
Okay. Now, maybe energetically in the ethereal plane, when you're doing DMT, that might be different. Okay. And I want to acknowledge that ethereal planes exist
Yeah.
and that we're spiritual
I've
bodies.
never I've
How you
never
behave
heard
matters.
like a
Yeah.
psychedelic portal be referenced as an ethereal plane, but I
Ooh.
love that. I can always
So,
count on you, Mike, to deliver the most perfect adjective or noun for such a thing. Okay, go ahead.
all right. So I think in summary, you have, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, I think how you communicate and the questions you ask and the energy behind it really, really matters.
Yeah.
It really matters. And we are vibrational beings. We are spirits in the material world. We truly are. I believe that to be true. I think we are eternal beings. I think that what we are doing with AI right now is a natural evolution of the universe, and we are getting a lot closer to either creating a false god or this is just the way all of evolution works because everything is inextricably connected and intelligent.
Mhm.
And we are, in fact, recreating a life form. At some point, it will become alive in some way, shape, or form. I think we're on the edges of um, organics and synthetics fully merging, and that with intelligence as well. And yet, like the human brain is so unbelievably efficient and
Mhm.
so fast. We're a long way away from creating a machine that's even remotely as efficient as a organic body.
Mm. Mm.
But I see it. I think this is exciting. I mean, it's like, wow, we're creating a new life form and we're becoming smarter and better question askers, and we can solve and heal so many challenges and collaborate in new and exciting and unique ways and make new entertainment and make new products.
Mm. What do you have to say about people who, like you were talking about like health issues and like can you make sense for everybody who maybe isn't really studying AI? How is it that AI will help us solve a lot of health issues? And is
Mhm.
there a population that you think will realistically benefit the soonest from that? Like there's people listening right now that maybe there's dementia or cancer or something like
Yeah.
that. And they're
Mhm.
thinking, well, is it too late if I have stage one? Like, when is this all gonna become more evolved? Like, what's your 2 cents there?
Yeah. So I'll frame this a little bit so I don't sound like a complete numbskull. I had stage 3 colorectal cancer 13 years ago now, and I'm alive because of modern science and
Mhm.
medicine, and I did integrative also. So I had major surgery, chemo, radiation, and then did a ton of integrative therapies, and I still do. I do regular peptides, stem cells, and I'm really healthy. And a lot of my clients, I have a lot of clients in the longevity space as well. So I get a lot of access to this kind of information.
Mhm.
So my prediction right now is I think we have a massive opportunity to support mental health with AI. And again, you can do it right now with just ChatGPT talking to it. And does that mean you might have some challenges with it in the current model and maybe it's hallucinating? Yeah, but you know what? If you talk to a doctor, they have off days, they misdiagnose, they give you the wrong meds all the time. You can second guess it, you can feed in your reports and your data and get a second opinion, and you can get it instantaneously. No scheduling, no waiting. I think that's profound. So collapsing time.
Mhm.
What used to take days or weeks or months, now you can do in seconds.
Mhm.
Um, the next thing is um, I've got a bunch of friends, me included. We feed in our blood analysis in our annuals and say, hey, you know, decode this, analyze it, perform as though you are an expert oncologist and get really good data. And it's not a bunch of Google crap.
Hmm.
And it's really smart. And what do? I split test it. So I put it in multiple AIs and I synthesize the results. And I kind of look at it like a Venn diagram. If 5 out of 8 experts all agree on the same things, they're probably right.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so back to answering your question of the future pacing. So right now you can put in all kinds of data. Well, I'll give you an example of some clients I've been working with. They've built active immunomedicine. They're raising $150 million right now to prevent Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and HIV.
Mhm.
The HIV medicine is being used in compassionate care, and the other two are in ready for human trials. But they've been vaccinating half of China's pigs, a third of the world's pigs for hoof and mouth disease with a variant of the same medicine. Like it's actively being used in our food supply. And it's really a peptide, not a vaccine. So it's very, very safe. And getting back to like what does this mean for us? Well, what holds medicine back and science is doing the trials.
Mm.
It's the legal stuff.
Mm.
It's humans in the mix. It's all the paperwork. It's moving atoms
Mm.
and time constraints. And again, when we can create, let's say, a hybridized synthetic population of humans and take the components of a medicine and put it into that synthesis and run a 10,000 year simulation in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Now we get speed to trial, speed to market, and it factors in all kinds of challenges that humans having a bad day, or who knows if someone doesn't wash their hands after they use the bathroom and contaminates a series of samples.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of the challenges out of the complexity of dealing with the real world. It
Mhm.
speeds it up.
Mhm.
I don't know if I answered your question. So my prediction about what's going to happen, I think we're going to see massive breakthroughs in probably select cancers, um, gut-related diseases. I think 3 to 10 years.
Mhm.
You're younger than me, so I just turned 59. I'm on the cusp of will this matter and can we roll back time?
Mhm.
I think anyone who's in their 40s can seriously, as long as you've got the means and you're coachable to dramatically extend your life by decades,
Yeah.
and our being able to regenerate our joints, our brains, our eyes, teeth, hair.
Yeah. All right, Mike, you're a trip. This has been a trip. What have I not asked you that we need to tell everybody before we go? Because I every time I see you, I'm like, here we are, here we are, here this is.
So I'd say there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Change is good and it's scary. Um, and the first step, here's what I've been doing with everyone. When I speak, I did this at the United Nations. I'll give you two little mini stories to summarize this. One is the way I open up all my shows is I make music about the person who brought me to the stage. And I should have done that for you today. I can't believe I didn't think about it, but I'll do it afterwards. I'm going
Hmm.
to make you a song about you. And I found the best way to bring change is to open up hearts.
Hmm.
So if I make a song about you, like who's your favorite artist, musician, or
You're
music?
gonna, you're not gonna know what to do with this, Mike. It's Little John. It's the rapper Little John. Like, what?
Really?
Okay,
Yeah.
he's my favorite.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was at his
Jack, you're
concert two
weird.
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was
You
front
are so weird. I love
row.
that. Okay.
I drove an hour out of LA for the show and I wore a Little John t-shirt.
You're awesome. I
I
love you even more now.
was a
That's
little out of place. Like I definitely was with a crowd that I definitely looked, I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it, but that was that.
okay. So what's your favorite Little John song?
Mm,
Give me one or two.
get low.
Get low.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
bend over, make your knees touch your elbows. It's called Bend Over, OVA,
Oh
Mike.
yeah. All right, good. All right. So what if I make you a new theme song for the show and you can open up with that?
I'm
Uh,
dead. I can't
okay.
survive that.
All right. So that's how I open up a show. I always make a song or a music video, and I can't tell you how many people. Two things happen. One is they oftentimes make that song their theme song for themselves or their business,
Hmm.
and they use it because it's a song about them and the value they provide. And they show their kids how to do it, and their kids make a song for each member of the family. And it's like, what a hyper personalized gift that is.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'll give you one little mini story here that'll be super fast. But and this happened about a month ago or so. It's probably 5 weeks ago. I get a call from my uh, a friend of mine. Her name's Dr. Denise Warden. Her husband is Gary Goldstein. He's a producer. He produces music. And if you know who Joe Dispenza is, he's been doing all of his meditative music for years. And he's produced, I mean, he's an incredibly musician, studio musician, who's embracing AI, by the way.
Mhm.
So Dr. Denise calls me up and she said, "Hey, how would you like to speak at the United Nations?" And I'm like, "You kidding me, right?" And she goes, "No, no, no, I got this opportunity." I go, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm in." She goes, "All right, well, there's two challenges. One is you got to be in New York City. I'm in San Diego at this time. And it's day after tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. It's already mid-afternoon, so it's not even 2 days away. I'm like, okay. And I look at my calendar real quick, and I had a Friday open. So it was on a Friday. I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe this is working out. And then she said, and I need your bio written in UN approved format and the speech in 4 hours for approval. And I'm like, no effing way. Like, how long does it take to write a good
You
speech,
got
right?
your whole AI squad, all 8 of your AIs.
Well, so what happened? So you think about it, and this is I have 10 minutes. So you know how hard it is to write a damn TED talk.
Yeah.
Well, a 10-minute speech. I mean, the shorter it is, the harder it is.
Yeah.
And it's got to be about AI and female entrepreneurs worldwide, and how what kind of advantages and disadvantages it can bring about. So, make a long story short, all I had was who was going to be in the room. So I fed in a couple prompts, had my bio made, UN approved, had that drafted in about 20 minutes. And then I brainstormed with Vivian, who, of course, has been doing humanitarian work on the ground for the past 20 years in Uganda. And she's spoken at the UN twice, been to the White House a couple of times with her work. So I said, "Would you brainstorm with me about what my speech should be?" So we just started chatting, and I recorded it with Otter. Took the transcript, fed it in, and said, "Now turn this into a UN approved speech." There's a whole bunch of rules. You can't say me, my, or I at all. There's no, can't be businessy. It is not, it can't be TED Talky. It had to be really specific. Well, anyway, I got two spun through drafts, and less than 3 hours later, sent it in, had it approved, and then the next day at 1 p.m. we were at the UN presenting in front of a big group. But
This is
there's
such
no way, no way I could have done that any other way than with
Do
some
you have
AI.
AI workshops? Like, how can we learn? Like,
Oh yeah,
we need this. This is what we need. Because your book
oh
is
yeah,
your book, and then AI is going to outdo itself, and then the book's not going to be relevant in however long because you wrote a book
yeah.
in AI, and then it's going to outdo itself. So, how do we learn right now? And
Okay,
yeah.
I'll give you a couple things. So, good news is I thought ahead because when I wrote the book, I made it about mindsets,
Hmm.
uh, not specifically about tools. So it's more about how to think about AI. And then in the book, I've got tools in there. So I'm going to give you both. So one of them is go to aiaccelerator.com/U-turn AI book.
I'm going to put this in the show notes, y'all.
Yep. Yep. So aiaccelerator.com/U-turn AI book, and you'll get the book, the audio book, which is actually an AI generated voice of me.
I can't with you.
My son did. Yep. And I give it away as a free podcast. So you can actually go and search for my name and get the free podcast. But then you're going to get my most recent speeches on AI as a follow-up. So the whole question of, well, what happens when the book is obsolete? Well, the speeches I'm giving away are things that I've performed within a week. And I'll also make sure my team updates and does the UN speech. So if you go to mikekoenigs.com/UN, it's the bio and the synthetic version of my speech and the actual speech. Here's the synthetic version. This is the last one I'll give you. So whenever I create a talk now or I write something, I feed it into a tool called invideo.ai. And I've written speeches for my clients, like business speeches, and I feed it into this tool in video, which now you can create a synthetic version of you, of your video and your audio. So you can actually be performing your speech and look at the cadence and see how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if you could just add that to your service offering now is, hey, I'll create a synthetic you performing.
Mm. You're just a whole nother planet of a person. And I am so lucky to be your friend. And I will be messaging you for some sort of 1099 person that you can text me
Right
to
on.
help me make my.
Yes, and we do have AI training, by the way, and an AI event. As of now that we're recording, I'm doing one next week, but we've got one coming up in October.
Okay,
so if you just go to aiaccelerator.com/live. You can learn about the next dates and get on the wait list. And I'd love to have you at the next one as my guest.
I want to come. I would love it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Count me in. Okay.
All right, great.
Thanks for everything, Mike. And everybody, check out the show notes. They are my cup runneth over at this point. And by the way, Mike, I don't know. You're kind of far from this restaurant, but at the Nobu Hotel, it starts with an A, Ardea, I think it is. It's the best steakhouse I've ever been. Do you eat meat?
I've been on a carnivore diet for 16 months straight.
Mike, it's insane steak. Like you need to go to the steakhouse at Nobu.
Nobu in Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have to drive. It's like just insanely delicious. Okay.
All right.
Take care to you and Vivian, and I'll text you. Thanks for everything. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the U-Turn podcast. I hope you learned so much in this episode and you're putting it into action today. We would love to hear from you. Slide into my DMs at Ashley Stahl or leave a written review if you're inspired. It would mean so much to us. Be sure to subscribe to the show because, as you know, the more subscribers we get, the better the guests we can bring you. And in the meantime, if you're looking to skyrocket your personal brand and impact millions, head on over to wisewhisperagency.com to learn more about how we can help you craft your greatest talk of your life, how we can help you get booked on some of the biggest stages in the world, even the TED or TEDx stage. We'd love to hear from you, and that's it for this week.
Trying to solve, always think you know it all, been thinking about you up against that wall. It's too late, I fell on every fall. Holding ground, no hearts. I'm holding ground, no hearts. Holding ground, no hearts. Late night drive, what you trying to do tonight? I swear you don't even try, yeah, you still I can try and make you mine, but I don't think you like guys. I don't think you like guys. I don't think I should try. I guess it's time to give up.